Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the Immortal Thor Issue 1 2023. New Thor series, yeah. And I really enjoyed this one. I think this was a very strong issue of showing how this creative team is going to be going about. I liked the writing. The writing really got to the essence of Thor. The art is awesome. Like, the cover is great. It just really captures Thor and where he is actually right now in this series, too. Just going around in Thor, like in his classic kind of outfit, doing Thor things. Now, we also get a tribute to John Romita, which I'm glad they continue to keep doing. However, this one is $6.99, which is a little bit higher than usual relaunched issue ones. So take with that as you will. Understand that, and I just want people to be aware of the pricing. And I liked it, even with the pricing, because we get a good hefty amount in here, and we get a little bit of Who Are the Gods, which actually ties into a Thor character, so we'll see how that kind of works out. And let's actually get into this then. So, we start off with, like, this kind of thing from the Elder Edas of Saemund Sigfason. He is sated with the last breath of dying men. The gods' seat he with red gore defiles. Swart is the sunshine then for summers after. All weather turns to storm. Understand ye yet or what? And I don't know much about that, and it'll be interesting to see how that kind of thing plays into the story. And then we kind of get into it with this weird kind of crazy thing, this crazy kind of looking dude. If you would understand and open your mind, there are 10 realms on the world tree, 10 realms of gods and magicians, of elves and dwarves, of angels and dead souls. 10 is the number, 10 there are. So here was no realm as we count realms, and those here were not gods as we count gods. For the gods are creatures of story, and a story is a shadow play cast on a cave wall. What casts the shadow then? What could block the light? And saying the wheel turns. Understand ye yet or what? It's like, okay, so what casts the shadow? What is the true form of the gods, I guess, or what, you know what I mean? Kind of what getting at with there. And what of Asgard? What of the realm of the Aesir, the god heroes of legend, of whom the Eddas were sung? What of the Golden Realm? Golden no longer. Now the realm was silver, rimmed with ice and buried under snow. For winter had come to the land of the gods. As we see, this fucking asshole frost giant is pretty much trying to take on Asgard. As we see the Asgardians arrayed before them, commanded by Skyrimir, wizard of Jotunheim and thy true and rightful king. It's like, Loki was the king of Jotunheim. What the fuck's going on here? And then Fandrel's pretty much like, this dude's kind of blustery. Hogan's like, nah, he's no jester. He has magic enough to survive the loss of his head and grow a new one back. It's like, yeah, that's a fucking problem. Volstagg saying that it's like turning the realm eternal into a mortal icebox. Hildegard then's like, I should say nobody should fear. When the king stands beside them, look up. And the king of Asgard had indeed come to battle, but he did not stand. He soared, as we then switch over and we see Thor just looking fucking awesome, swinging Mjolnir, and just got, like, lightning going around him. For in his right hand was Mjolnir the Crusher, the great enchanted hammer of gods, that flew as the arrow and came at his call. Many names had he. Vir, some called him, and Herodi also. Before the first Eddas were sung, the talesmith called him Thunderer around their ancient fires. Avenger and Allfather were his titles. But there was one name that all knew him by, one name that meant fear to the wicked and hope to the good. One name toasted in the halls of Valhalla where his father Odin now resided. And that name was Mighty Thor. It's like, that's fucking awesome. And just like really in that kind of tradition of bardsmithing and old tales. And then Skaramir's like, ah, fuck that. Let's see. And of course, Thor's like, I'm in no mood to bandy words, my friend, so I will speak my piece plainly. I'm deeply disappointed in thee. And then he's like, you're disappointed? And they're all like, ah, you're tutting us? That's fucking stupid. My words were not for you, Scaramir. I'm speaking to thee, my unfaithful servant. And he's like, the sky? A storm of snow is still a storm, and still minding a man. So what mean you by coming here at a clumsy hedge wizard's bidding? What mean you spreading icy chaos in your liege lord's domain? And you are but a little blizzard, so this once Thor shall be merciful. Be gone from here, and we shall say no more. As we see it, focusing on Thor's eyes as he's saying this, is like, God damn. And then, the storm is gone. This is really important, because this showcases Thor's kind of change and shifting throughout time and everything. This All-Father Thor, he won't just go and be an asshole. He will not be like Odin. And he talked the storm away. That is what he can do. That is cool. The other Jotuns just scream and run. They're like, ah, fuck, we're gonna melt. Of course, the wizard's like, what the fuck, why are you gone? Of course, Thor's saying, still thy tongue, Scaramir. Let them go. Those warriors you beguiled are but young gnats, swayed by honey-sweet tales of battling the ancient foe. Had I loosed the armies of Asgard, they would have cut such striplings down like wheat. And I have no stomach for a slaughter, old foe. Not on such a fine summer's day. As he then starts kind of getting his hammer ready. Because you are weak, Thor, and all know it. Where All-Father Odin brought his wondrous rat to the 10 realms, Thor speaks soft as a mouse. Yeah, and he got a fucking storm to fucking just go away. And he's like, he has his measure. He took the name Utgard Loki for the Magus of the ancient tales. Scaramir, whose magic makes beasts of men. We shall see if your vaunted armies follow you, fool king, when my spells remake you as the scuttling rodent you are. And then we see that Thor dodges around. He's like, yeah, you gotta hit me. If you can hit me with them, I appeal once more to thy wiser nature, Scaramir. I entreat you, leave as thou came. And he's like, oh, you're begging and dancing for your life. Like a circus steed. Dance as prettily as you wish. I only have to hit you once. True words. And if I could speak, Mjolnir would say the same. It's like, yeah, all you gotta do is hit once. And some would say the hammer did speak in that moment. Some would say, boom, as he pretty much takes Scaramir's head right off. It's like, yep. 'Twas most eloquent. It's like, yep. Well struck, my liege. 'Twas best to end it quickly, Fandral. And yet, I would that this had gone another way. He's like, he fucking regrew his head once. We'll see if it happens again. It's called comfort. Assault signifies a greater problem on the horizon. These were giants of Jotunheim, and Jotunheim is ruled by Loki, my sibling. What is their role in this? Did Loki try to prevent this incursion or encourage it? Why not ask me yourself, Thor? As we see Loki pop up. I've been here the whole time. Ta-da, Loki! The trickster returns, looking more chaotic than ever, a grim tiding. With you, what isn't? Ignore him, Loki. You look great. Dashing as ever, Fandral. Enough pleasantries, Loki. We must speak. One monarch to another. You are ruler of Jotunheim. Oh, that didn't work out. And Thor's like, what? It's like, yep. You claim the throne, the responsibilities you can't simply abandon. Maybe you can't, brother. Don't project your neuroses on me. At the end of the day, the Jotun can rule themselves, and so can I. Bury his bones. So be it then. I'll not force your rule on Jotunheim any more than I would my own. But I have strong memories of prior mischiefs, Loki, and I would know what brings your wandering feet back to my kingdom. What else? You're god of the storm, Thor. I'm god and goddess of the story. The skald of all the realms. It's like, okay, Loki, let's see what you're doing. And Loki goes where the stories are. This is true in its fashion, but not all the truth. For every storyteller is a liar, trickster, and traitor. Our first allegiance is always to the tale, which this is interesting because that's both for Loki and the person telling the tale, so we'll see how that kind of works out. To trust us is to risk your very heart. Understand ye yet? You will. Very well, Loki. We'll clear your mess up as we go. I'm glad you're home. Me too. Now how about I whip us up a nice rainbow bridge? Because it had been broken. Of course, Thor talking about how it was his failure. And then it would be like 10,000 years to restore it. And how are you going to whip it up? What dark bargain have you made? There's a saying about gift horses and mouths, Thor, but if you must know, gaze upon the wand of Wudavar, I believe. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Jam-packed with mystery magic from the elders of the universe. I found it in the collector's vaults during a minor adventure I won't trouble you with. 'Tis better I do not know some of your escapades. Make the attempt, then. I will stand guard in case this backfires, like the last time. It would not, for the wand was only whittled driftwood, a prop with a pretty story attached, and that lie hid a deeper magic. Interesting. And then we see the great kind of thing of Loki preparing and pretty much getting ready to reform the Rainbow Bridge. At the heart of that magic was a question, carried like an ember in a clamshell from creation's highest point. We are told what is possible for us, what is allowable, who we are, who we can be, who we shall be. The stories have their patterns. The gods have their Ragnarok. Even Thor has a black winter hanging over him. Good that we have a little bit of that popping back up. But what if spring could come again? What if green shoots grew where nothing could? What if the future was unwritten, the present uncontained? What if we could go anywhere, do anything, be anyone? What if we were free? All of us, gods and mortals, me and you. What couldn't we do on the day all our cages open? What would that look like? Tell me if you can. What does the bridge to anywhere look like? Smash. It's like, interesting. Does it look like this, as we then see that the Rainbow Bridge is reformed? Magic is symbol and metaphor. Stories turn moments into power, moments like this, by all the gods. And the teller of tales can harness that power, even in the moment. But no journey is without trial, no spring comes without winter. No magic is without cost, as we see that the staff is broken. And we're wondering what the cost is of bringing the Rainbow Bridge back. And the person narrating says, I'm sorry, Thor, so I'm thinking this could potentially be Loki narrating this. But we'll see. I almost dare not touch it. 'Tis even stronger than it was before, Thor. I doubt it will break again, yet it seems as fragile as spun glass, as fragile as joy. I swore an oath to my father in Valhalla to do less brooding on my throne, Sif, but to see Asgard's rainbow again, to feel it under my feet, I'll admit, it's easier to guard something that actually exists. Ha ha! Oh, now the brooding is done, Sif. Now my heart is light again. It's like, yay! I get worrying about that. A new chapter for Asgard has begun, and we have our own Skald to thank for weaving it. You have my eternal gratitude, Loki. I'm so sorry, as we see Loki disappear pretty much before he's able to even turn around. Gone as suddenly as they came. Something in that troubles me. As fragile as joy indeed, Thor Odinson. Let's see here. And of course, she's like, alright, you solved that, now you gotta chase after, like, fresh troubles. You're not known for sitting still. You know me far too well, my lady. What would you recommend for such a milady? What else? We have the Bifrost again, Thor. And you've done enough for Asgard for one day. 'Tis time to see to your other home. Once again, you show more wisdom than any Allfather, Sif. So mote it be. Let the God of Thunder ride the Rainbow Bridge once more. To Midgard! As we see him pop up into Midgard. And this is really great. I just love seeing him kind of fly and be kind of happy. And see him, like, just interacting with the people. Does it seem strange for a king's heart to sing as he leaves his land? No Asgardian thought it so. For Thor's people knew him well and loved him better, and they knew his soul was of two worlds. His father's golden realm on high, and the mundane realm of Midgard watched o'er and loved by the goddess Gaia, who was Thor's mother. Mighty Thor was his mother's son, and perhaps his love for the whole world exceeded even hers. But even so, none could argue that there was not a certain city he loved best, evidently New York. And the mortals loved him back as fondly and as fiercely, though not as a god. Thor had no worshippers here, and he wished for none. It's like, yeah. And then we see him like knocking on a shield and like taking pictures with a kid and someone else dressed as Thor. People of Midgard were Thor's friends, and I like that distinction. That they're gods that want worshippers and to have that power over people. Thor doesn't see that as Midgard. He sees them all as his friends. That's an amazing distinction, and really gets to Thor's character as the hero and the avenger of who he is. It's an important character trait, and I like that they kind of get that and showcase that. So we see that he's playing chess. Then someone comes up. And if you came to Thor as a friend in need, if you told the son of Odin a tale of injustice done, of a wrong committed, the thunderer would break the sky to right it. And that's what he does. He's like, comes in. We see that like anti-mutant guys are like going after these people. He's come for the mutie. And then we see that he like fucking takes them out and just hangs out with these people. It's like, yeah, that's Thor. And nothing, not the laws of mortals, nor the magic of gods, would sway him from the path until justice was done. Get up, dogs. Get up so Thor may smite thee again. And it's like, yeah, he doesn't take that shit. And after such battles came the revelry. For wherever hope and kindness still lived, there was no place the god of thunder was unwelcome. Just seen him cracking open a soda with them. Now, granted, I get that. Should be more mead. And yet, for all that, he was still of two worlds in neither. And when the night came, Thor found himself in need of solitude, a place to be alone. And he just flies off. He's like, yeah, got to talk with some people, got to help some people, got to chill with some people. And now he's going off to be alone with his thoughts on top of Lady Liberty. How long has it been? How long since I simply stood here and let my mind roam thus? Impossible to say. Time on Midgard has always been mercurial, rushing like a river the summer to autumn. And often have I returned from some brief seeming sojourn to find years have passed, and my mortal friends are warming mortal graves. Yeah, that's what happens when you're a god. Ho, Eric Thorvaldsen! Where voyage you now? Does Valhalla's feast sate your wanderlust, or do you sail the seas of hell? Under what sky may I find you, Nahanda? What far star does brave Marvel now orbit? Bend, universe, to tell me. The All-Father would know. And it's kind of cool that he's like naming them like that, his friends that have gone on. Like wily nut, I demand what cannot be, to prove not my power but my limits, which is kind of a cool distinction. There are forces which even a god must bow, yet I am secure in myself at least that battle is done with. Mjolnir is whole, my companion once more, and the weight of the hammer is no longer the measure of me. For as All-Father, the magic is mine, and I decide who is worthy of it. I no longer have the luxury of railing against my father's commandments. I must now command myself, which is cool to show how Thor has kind of grown and that becoming All-Father and becoming king. I like this view of Thor of like, yes, I was the one railing against these kind of commandments and everything, but now I must command myself. That important kind of shift as growing up. And that is not so easy as commanding the skies above me. Oh, my servant, heed thy lord's call. This weather is fit for thunder gods, but too much for the mortals in my care. The master of storms ordered thee be gone from here, and let there be clear skies again. But Thor had made an error. And then this great 2-page of just showing the lightning striking and destroying the Statue of Liberty. For it was not his thunder to command. It's like, what the hell? Thor was only god of the storm. Who was god of the superstorm, as we see him falling among the debris? What god would reign when hurricane winds tear the structures of mankind from the earth? What god condemned humanity's darkness instead of celebrating humanity's light? Which is interesting. It's like, ooh. What god would be to the Aesir as the Aesir are to the mortals? Ode's blood. It's like, that's the scary thing, as we then see the weird kind of dude that we'd seen in the beginning. And from what dark world would it come? The wheel hath turned, as we see 2 pages showcasing, and it's really kind of interesting how this guy is presented, because it's hard to showcase this, but I like the use of darkness and showing his outline and having brief little bits of color while having the lightning in his hand like that, and the wheel, it's like nuts. And seeing his one arm kind of fucked up, that it's got like just sinew and bone. So the wheel hath turned. Too long has this world stagnated. Too long have you chosen illusion over change. You sleepwalk through a dream of light. But I am the bloody awakening. I come to you from Utgard, the storied land. That is the land of true things. I come to shatter thy false world apart. And it's always interesting having something like that. Like, there's always different kind of levels. It's like, but are you the true one? It's like, always. And then we shift to this crazy one with his fucking face of like, holy shit. And my name is Tornados. Fuck me. Toranos. Yes, Toranos, the Utgard Thor. It's like, that's kind of crazy. And then did mighty Thor know fear? He recalled Skiramir's boasting of how he had worn the name of Utgard Loki as a signifier of great power, and deep in a memory from a time long past, he recalled his own journey to the Utgard lands, the Shadowlands, home to those who sit above even the gods. And if the gods were as mortals to them, what then of mortals? As we see planes getting hit by lightning, signs falling down, trees getting ripped up, flood waters coming. Yet Thor was no mere mortal and no mere god, and his fear was but a fleeting whisper compared to his righteous wrath. Toranos, hear me. And I was like, yeah, okay, Thor, let's see this go. Hear me, son of Utgard, for you face the Odin's son now in his own true element, and I call upon my father's might, the Odin power, that now flows in my own veins. For I am Thor, the Gaia's son, who defends the Midgard lands. I am Thor, the Avenger, who brings justice for innocent blood. And we see him powering up. It's like, yeah, Thor, yeah. And most of all, I am Thor, the All-Father, and I summon the All-Power against you now. And it's like, oh shit! That's nuts. Then the very earth did tremble as at the war just now beginning. And it's like, then he just fucking tanks it. It's like, that's not good. But that is where we leave it now. Thor unleashing the all-power against Toranos. But we then shift. And that note of doom reached far beyond the Midgard plane. If you would understand, then open your mind. So we then shift to others kind of talking. It's like, what the hell's going on now? The wheel has turned. The wheel turns. And here was no realm as we count realms. Our brother Toranos walks in the world again, and only your son bars the path of his rage. Is all as you wished it to be, Sister Gaia? And there were not gods as and these were not gods as we count gods. Little is as I wished it to be, brother, but I would not have unlocked what I sealed long millennia ago if there were other options. Like, why would you unlock this? Why would she do this? Hi. You well recall the last time we were all abroad, echoes of it ring in dark legend. Some yet use our own names. Some yet use our names as talismans. I recall the amusing Skiramir, and did not the Thunderer fight a Tyrannos? Yeah, in his past, Tanarus, a troll made a corruption of the name. Ha! A little troll. Thor will be tested by more than trolls now, as he was before, long ago when he journeyed to the Utgard Hall in his youth. And as before, if he breaks, if he falls, if he fails to be what he must be, it will mark the end of all that is. It's like, that's not good. The rule is clear. All things must live and grow or wither and die. The age of marvels can be no exception. It's like, that's crazy. Especially the look of the dude. It's like, what the hell? True indeed, and the outcome cannot be predicted, for Odin's foundling is at the door, the trickster who plays no favorite, save for their tale. Thor may now face Loki's test as well. Ha! 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 Loki, you say. I remember Loki. A talesmith are they now, and how precious. A skald, to join the troll and the frost wizard in our cast of understudies. Ah, Gaia, my sister, my jailer, my ancient foe, you bring sweet laughter to the hall of Utgard, for Thor can be tested by Loki, as we see him with a flame that's got Thor's face in it. Then the Utgard Loki will utterly destroy him. It's like, that's not good. Interesting that there was a Tanarus and Toranos. It's like, completely crazy. So we'll see what kind of goes on. And I like that we got a whole thing of Al Ewing talking about his whole thing with how he got into Thor and all that, and what he likes about Thor. So that was a really nice read, as we then get a little thing of where we're going to be going before we get the part at the end with who are the gods. And we see Tyr, and we see this thing called the box. Your name is echoed through the ages. Tyr One Hand, the valorous and powerful, the bloody name of a warrior victorious. But it has to go, doesn't it? For that is the name that they call you in the world out there. And what do we think of that world? It is a lie. Yes, and you deserve better. You deserve the real world, and that's what's waiting for you. All you have to do is go in. What if I care not for it? Care not for it? This is your new home. I promise you will not like it. You will love it, as Tyr then puts himself in the box. It's like, what the hell? So it's interesting to get those little tidbits. So I liked this a lot because it set up how the team views Thor, and I like that he was able to talk a storm down, talk out the rest of the Jotuns, and took out Scaramir as effectively as he needed to. He was not his father. He was Thor. Getting to Midgard and being the Thor that everyone knows him to be, helping people, just taking the time to be with all the people that he considers his friends, helping, and then talking about the names of those that have fallen before Tyrannos pops up and be like, yeah, I'm going to just wipe out the world because you're stagnating. You're not growing and progressing. You're just withering and dying. Let's do this shit. And Thor's like, I'm not having any of that, and calling upon all of his power to do what he can to save Midgard. It's like, yes, all right, let's see how this works. I'm like, all right. So I like that this team understands Thor, and it lines up with what I've seen so far of Thor and testing him with the Utgard Thor, and to see what Utgard Loki is going to be doing, and how Gaia's involved with this, and why she unlocked them. Well, why she locked them up in the first place, and then have unlocked them here. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of potential and everything, and I can't wait to see what goes on with this. I would definitely recommend this, but if this is too expensive and it doesn't sound interesting to you, I totally understand that. It's always weird when you're trying to see if a creative team is going to be the kind of take that you want on a character. It's sometimes the first issue is a good representation of what the run's like. Sometimes you're like, all right, this is really kind of good, and then it kind of goes on and you lose interest. You're like, okay. Sometimes your first issue is like, I don't know if I'm into this, and then it takes a couple issues, and then you're like, ah, shit, and then you really get sucked into it. So it's all in how it kind of works. This definitely worked for me. I'm like, all right, I've been reading Thor for years and ages now, and I really am digging this creative team's first issue, and I can't wait to see what they do next. I love the art style. It really hits with Thor's classic design and the action and everything going on, and I love how Tyrannos looks and how different it kind of is, with the art style still working in the same realm, because you wouldn't think that this Thor would be able to exist within the same kind of art style as this crazy ass looking motherfucker. It's like, holy shit, but it does, and it's like, damn, can't wait to see how this works out. I'm excited for it, and I'm along for the ride in the journey. Let's see what happens. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.